You've put in the hours at your desk. You've dialed in your prompts, structured your workflows, and figured out how to clear your inbox faster than anyone else in your department. You've done the rigorous part, auditing your own time and building a personal AI stack that genuinely makes you faster and more accurate. But when performance review season arrives, that evidence runs into a hard ceiling. It suffers from a distinct limitation. It is entirely self-generated. You are the one claiming the work is better, which makes the assessment inherently biased. Senior decision-makers are cautious about broad technology claims. They've heard the marketing hype. When you present an audit of your own time savings, they often view it as a temporary personal shortcut, rather than proof of true organizational value. To turn your isolated capability into leverage for your career, you need other people to tell leadership how your methods solved their problems. Private efficiency has to become undeniable external validation. So, we need to step away from your screen and look at the screens around you. Out in the wider office, there are colleagues clearly bogged down by their workloads. Look at this diagram showing a standard workflow pipeline. Notice what happens right here. You are looking for colleagues whose daily progress hits these severe administrative bottlenecks, specifically unstructured, text-heavy tasks. Think about the tasks that make people sigh at 3 in the afternoon. It's the project manager stuck synthesizing 50 pages of community feedback, or the planner spending half their Friday compiling disjointed weekly site logs. When you identify a colleague's operational roadblock and clear it for them, your AI skills are no longer a personal secret. They immediately become a recognized asset that scales capability across the business. Fixing those roadblocks relies on a structured 4-step sequence: identify, scope, deliver, and capture. First, you identify. You want to find someone whose opinion carries weight in your career conversations, who is facing a specific problem that large language models process easily. Second, you scope the project. This is where enthusiastic users often trip up by attempting to redesign an entire departmental workflow in a single afternoon. This timeline illustrates the ideal target. You are looking for a discrete task that currently takes them 2 to 4 hours of manual effort, and you want to compress it into 30 minutes of focused execution. Keeping the scope this narrow keeps you safely away from complex software limitations and security boundaries, while guaranteeing immediate, measurable relief for your colleague. Once the task is scoped, you move into a secure meeting room or shared workspace to begin the third step: delivery. Here is the absolute rule of delivery. You must manage boundaries carefully, and the colleague must hold the mouse, working strictly within their own digital environment. If you take their data, retreat to your desk, and return with a finished report, you haven't solved their workflow problem. You have only created a dependency on you, rather than scaling capability in them. Instead, act as an internal consultant. Sit beside them and guide them step by step so they can build and refine the prompt pattern themselves. They need to see the mechanism work. You also must establish a firm safety boundary in the new workflow. Every single AI-generated output requires a mandatory human checkpoint. Before the document leaves their desk, the colleague has to verify the generated text and data against the original source emails, notes, or site logs. Enforcing this manual oversight demonstrates to leadership that your intervention relies on mature, professional judgment. It ensures the output is safe and accurate. When manual verification is complete, your colleague will experience a sudden wave of relief. A heavy, multi-hour task just vanished in a matter of minutes. While that relief is still fresh, you execute the final step: capture. You need to immediately request documented proof of the intervention. You do not want a vague testimonial praising your technical skills. What you require is a precise 3-sentence ledger outlining exactly what happened. Take a look at this document right here. Your ledger must clearly state the specific bottleneck faced, the exact AI intervention applied, and the operational time saved. Once you have that in writing, you are no longer relying on self-assessment. That short statement becomes a definitive, undeniable external pillar for your performance review portfolio. By stepping out from behind your private screen and directly clearing friction for the business, you shed the label of the secret tool user. You emerge as a highly visible capability leader.